Welcome to BackRoomConvos. I'm your host at the most. This is what M30 Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy. Like, Cairo, listen, if you are a fan of port, stay tuned because you might like what we are cooking. In today's episode, we're talking all things movie reviews, and I think the movie that I watched wasn't one of the greatest, given that I've seen the standard this person can do, or they the film production company, the potential or what they can bring to the table as far as them as a company. I was kind of like disappointed because of that element, the standard or the pedestal that they set for themselves as a film production was very high, and I was kind of disappointed when this movie came out. And I guess maybe that's why the ranking of this movie that I'm about to talk about wasn't that high. So yeah, the song of the day is Silent by Casino, which was featured in the album called Heroes of Tomorrow, which was released in 2018. The song is 3 minutes 42 seconds long, and current listeners on Spotify alone at 694,936. So these are pretty good numbers given that it was released 2018, where I think hip-hop, the state of hip-hop at that time, I think people were listening to it, but I think it was the entry level of Amapiano and the MFR Souls. They had something going on. I think that was like the period where we were not sure about piano, and hip-hop was still doing its things. You remember even then we still had shows such as Good Kush, where people was a huge show for hip-hop artists. And now I see that, people, they were saying, this year was supposed to be the last year for Back to the City, if I'm not mistaken. So I think in COVID, the year that COVID happened, when COVID hit us, we didn't have the Back to the City for the year. I don't know if they added an extension to that to say, okay, like we'll add an extra year, given that we didn't have the Back to the City in 2020. So this year or last year, I'm not sure, it was supposed to be the last year for Back to the City, but I can see that Back to the City is still going on, because I even saw something last year. I think Back to the City, they did perform last year in Back to the City, so I did see the event happening last year. And I think now mainly I was a bit taken aback when I saw that a lot of the artists that were performing in Back to the City this year, it was more of the relevant guys, which is like a huge portion of the people that are Amapiano, and I'm saying, it is relevant, and I'm like, oh, well, is it possible, I'm putting it out there, let's talk about it. When we say culture, is it hip-hop culture? Do we really have to say hip-hop culture in SA? Or we can say the music culture as a whole? Because I think, in my opinion, we just need to say the music culture, given that the stability of the music industry, or the structure of the music industry, hip-hop can't really survive on its own. Yes, piano can sort of like carry us. It can carry itself through art. It's proven that over and over again over the years, right? It's relevant. It's reaching internationally. It's going internationally. People are doing their challenges on the internet, so that's going crazy. So there is structure behind, or like there is a developing structure behind the Amapiano scene, right? So whereas in hip-hop there's not so much, because whenever you listen, there's a bit of like a biasness when it comes to like people internationally listening to hip-hop from South Africa. As much as like some of them get surprised, but actually, Leslie though, Cass is dope, aka is dope. There was a point where even Masek wanted to work with, aka that's how dope it was, right? So we had people like A$AP Ferg featured Leslie C on, I don't remember the name of the song. I will mind you, it was in Leslie's album Strings and Bling, if I'm not mistaken. And who else? There's a lot of Future even, brought Nesty out in one of the summer awards, recognizing the fact, because Future, from what I hear, he's a big figure where he comes from, which is Atlanta. So apparently Future is bigger than Drake in Atlanta. And I say this, and these are not my words. These are the words from 21 Savage. He was saying, "But you'd get confused when everywhere else in the world, Drake is big, but when you get to Atlanta, Future is big in Atlanta." Shout out to Future. Shout out to Metro Booming. The album is dope. The song by Kendrick Lamar, it's making its round. I think shout out to Metro Booming. I think this is like his 4th album that's going #1 on the Billboard. So shout out to him for that as well. So let's dive into it, right? Talking about the movie review. So I know I had to leave that because if we were to talk about music and the culture, we won't finish. But the topic for today is the movie review, not really today because this is like the second episode of the day, which is episode 99. Road to 100 episodes. We just hit episode 99. So the movie review that I was watching, today, is it today or yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I was watching that movie yesterday. So the name of the movie is Heart of the Hunter. So it's a trailer action movie. It was released this year, 2024, on the 29th of March. And I must say, I saw a lot of names that I haven't seen in the longest time. And, I saw Connie Ferguson. I'll tell you this. I saw Connie Ferguson. I was like, I was a bit hesitant about the movie at first. I was like, I was sure, like a South African movie, because like some of these people that make some of these movies, they're not so great movies, But I saw Connie Ferguson. I was like, maybe this time it might be different. We don't know. So obviously bumped the movie, watched it, I regretted it a lot. I regret the entire, the storyline, very poor. We have people like Connie Ferguson, who is an amazing producer, who's an amazing director as well. And I'm like, for someone like Connie Chumi, who was also a part of Black Panther, she did a role in Black Panther. She was playing Tandiswa Makebe on this movie. So shout out to her as well, But from the script, I think, this is my opinion, by the way, don't bash it. This is my opinion. I did watch the movie. Go out and watch it. Have your own opinion. If you beg to differ, come in the comment section. Tell me why you beg to differ. And if so, if you have a valid point, we'll invite you to do the show. And you can talk about anything that you want to talk about. I guarantee you, that's how bad it is. So, yeah, I think from the writing standpoint, I think from someone who's like storyline, I wasn't sure where the storyline was going. Honestly, it was politics, essay politics, but there was an element of America, America in that movie, I was like, this doesn't really speak to, like day-to-day South African. I don't know if the market was like international to say this will relate or this will, touch the international audience, because unlike me, who's born and bred in South Africa, I'm like, this is really not true, or blah blah blah, or this doesn't make sense, A, B, and C. I was like, maybe this would make sense to someone who thinks internationally, right? So I thought. So scripts, yeah, storyline very bad. Writers, I give them like a 2 for that writing. It's very interesting. Storyline, it's all over the place, So storyline is all over the place. Didn't like the acting from some of the guys. The quality not so great. And the reason I said when I started Uguti, I was a bit disappointed with the production. If you think about Connie Ferguson and you look at the work that she's put out, the work such as The River, the work such as, what's the other show? I know there's a lot of shows that he's a part of, The Queen. Those are like some of the shows that she is a part of, and that's a production company. So the people that are working there are the people that work for Connie Ferguson. You would think, Uguti, since Connie Ferguson has that eye for quality, the eye or the vision for this, and I'm like, you would expect Uguti from the element of production, she would have that covered to say, guys, I won't be a part of this because A, B, and C. I don't know her reasons why she did that, and I don't know her thoughts when she saw that coming out to say, damn, I'm a part of that, and I'm like part of the people that are like main role or starrings within the movie. Is it starrings or stars within the movie? And I'm like, well, what did she say? Very interested to hear what she had to say about that when she saw the final draft of the final, makeup of the movie. I was very interested to find it out, because the standard of that movie compared to any of the series, some of the drama series that he has in South Africa, biggest drama series that he has in South Africa, that she has in South Africa, but with this, it kind of like took the standard very, very much low, So that's me. I don't mean to be negative. I don't mean to put out any negative energy out there. I'm just telling it like it is. So these are some of the names you might know, you might not know. I'm just going to name them. So Wanda Banda, Ellison Bandoi, she played Ellison Bandoi. Connie Ferguson, she played Molebogeng. And Nicole 14, Naleli Kumer. Then there was Bongo. Is it Donko? Bongo Cosmo, who played Bongo Cosmo Koza. That's a mouthful. Bongo Cosmo Koza played Zuko. Another star of the show, Masasa Mbangeni Malimele Mambi. That he's an amazing actor, by the way. If you've seen Masasa Mbangeni in Scandal, you'd know she's an amazing actor. Tim Theron, she played Tiger the Cock. Tiger the Cock. So Tim Theron, because when I saw Tim Theron, I thought he was related to Charlize Theron, who is also like South African. I was like, maybe this was the brother to Charlize Theron, who's also an actor, an amazing actor internationally. Actress, if you may, internationally. Connie, to me, I did talk about the hair as well. She was part of that, but didn't really get the spotlight in this. She only appeared in a couple of scenes. Got the bag. She was there for the bag. I take it. So she is Thandiswa Makeba. So this guy, I don't know who his name, the acting name is. Is it Jare Larox? Let's call him Mr. Larox. He only goes by that name. There's no stage name. I don't remember it for the movie. Do you remember him? Which role was he playing? Jared Lerox. Tell me which role. And Sisanda Hena was also like, well, I know he could act. He can, basically. He can act. But within, like, between scenes, I was like, I'm not really sure if this was the person for the role. He wasn't one with the role that he was playing. He wasn't one with the role that he was playing. I saw it, and I think it was mimicking more of your mafia bosses, your Russia, when you watch those international movies where you have like your like mafia bosses, drug laws, where they were giving that off, but he wasn't the person to play that role. I'm so sorry. Terrible from him, he's an amazing actor, but that role, it killed him. So Million Mary, she played Bertha Manning. There was Nathaniel Walsh. I don't know if this Nathaniel is related to Caesar Walsh. I don't know if Caesar Walsh is actually a son of Tadimpo, for those of you who didn't know. Nathaniel Walsh, I don't know if he's related to Caesar, because Caesar's surname as well is Walsh, so I don't know if they're related. Dean Cotier played Mike Bressler in the movie. So he kind of killed it. Not sure, but I think he killed it. The detective, John. Yeah, I think this guy's a Canadian. He was a detective in the movie. Terrible, very much terrible, in my opinion. Again, so for those of you who want to watch the movie is on Netflix. You can, so go out there and watch it on Google rankings. I think maybe let's focus on the rankings when we come back after the break. I'm your host with the most, maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy in Cairo. Let's meet after the break. Cheers. Welcome back to BackRoomConvos. I'm your host with the most Lesego M report, aka Future Short. Maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, if you are a fan of pod, stay tuned because you might like what we are cooking. So before we went on to a break, or at the break if you may, we're speaking about Heart of the Hunter, which is a movie that was released 2024, and I ranked it very bad, and some of you agree with me, surprisingly. So out of 10, it was ranking in IMDb, it was ranking 4.6 out of 10. So that alone tells you it's bad. It's bad. So out of 5 stars, it got 2.5, which is like half, 3.5. Doesn't make sense, but no, it's not there. It's not there, man. It's not there. Rotten Potato, these are like the rankings, These are like the rankings for the movie. So yeah, before I carry on with the rankings, I'm so sorry. The song of the day is Sudden by Macasino, Frank Casino featuring Casper Newbest. The song was released in 2018, just before Amapiano became a huge thing in South Africa. The song was really sudden. Really enjoyed it. I was thinking about it a lot in this morning. It was just playing in my head. It was released in the album called Heroes of Tomorrow. As I said, it was released 2018. So the song is 3 minutes 42 seconds long and currently sits at 694 on Spotify alone. So pretty decent numbers, I must say. 500,000 for a song. I don't know how much that is. How much do South Africans get for so many listens on Spotify? I don't know. I don't think it's a lot though. So yeah, let's go back to the rankings and the dundoni of the day. The rankings, the movie reviews of the day. So for those of you who are wondering what we are talking about, we are talking about the movie Heart of the Hunter, which was released 2024. It's a thriller action movie. It was released on the 29th of March 2024. And if you are a fan of the cast of Atlantis, if you are a fan of cast of Arcadia, if you are a fan of a cast of Silverton, this is a movie for you. Really enjoyed it. These are like movies that are similar. If you want to watch it, just go out and watch it. So people in IMDb were ranking the movie, as I said before, we went to the break. It's ranking 4.6 out of 10. Very bad. Rotten Potato, like Rotten Potato, you must know. For those of you who don't know, like Rotten Potato, they're very strict. So normally when people like deserve 100, they don't get 100. They get like 80 or 70. That's how like strict they are, like the critics in Rotten Potato. And yeah, man, do let me know what you think about the movie. In Google reviews, it's ranking 62% of people in Google like the movie, which I don't think it's true. I don't know how this ranking works. It's the first time that I'm questioning this, but I don't think that's true. And which metric did they use to measure this? Maybe if they show us the metric that they use to measure this. Oh, there's a little like button here. I think let me just say no, I dislike it. Maybe there, but let's just say we like, man. Let's just say we like for the statistic of the people. They must grow, you know what I mean? So let's just say we like. So I'll just give you a brief explanation or brief summary of what the movie is about. This is like the storyline was trash. Maybe I was the one who was not getting the storyline. So this was according to them, the summary of the movie, or what the movie is all about. The quiet retirement of a once-feared assassin in South Africa is interrupted by a desperate call from the daughter of an old and trusted friend whose father has been kidnapped. He recovers a conspiracy at the heart of the government. And there you go. They tried to solve that problem. That guy, trusted friend, the old trusted friend, got killed, and like boom, boom, boom. there's just a lot. But man, I didn't really enjoy this movie. So yeah, do not forget to make movie suggestion on the comment section so we can break those movies down. And I myself, Lesego M, will give you my personal opinion on the movie after I watch those movies. And it didn't trend. Like, I don't think people in South Africa were aware with this movie because not a lot of marketing was done. So I'm just curious if the international guys were the market for this movie, or we South Africans were a part of that. You know, I'm sure obviously they were relying on Netflix to push it out, you know. So do let me know what you think about the movie on the comment section. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M Daily Report, aka Future Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like I know. The book of the day, that's where we are now. The book of the day. I think the book of the day, I'm going to talk about it, and I'll give you the reasons when we are talking about the book of the day. Like, I'm to talk about it. So the book of the day is things black people untaught or when taught. Untaught, when taught. So this brought up a thought-provoking conversation within myself, right? So let me just give you the rankings of the book. So things black people untaught. The book is by Raymond K. Bosman. Guy is South African, you can tell by the name. I don't know what the K stands for. So currently, Google users, no, I'm so sorry, not Google users, Apple book users. This is how they rate the book. It's 4.5 out of 5. 4.1 out of 5. It's 4.1 out of 5 in Apple books. Google didn't give it a review. Not a lot of people gave this book a review, actually. There's no comments under it, so I assume it's a decent book. Oh, given that also it was published in the 4th of April 2022, that might be the reason as well. It doesn't have a lot of reviews behind it. And I see people like Steve Harvey are being quoted in this book. Surely this is like an interesting book. So this is the thought that, you know, this is what this entire headline triggered, you know, the title of the book triggered within me or within my mind, you know. So this is what it triggered, thought-provoking. I'm like, if everything in the world, not South Africa, no, everything is bartering or it's exchange, you know, it's money, it's economics, you know, it's commerce basically, and it's money. Bottom line, what everything you need, you have to buy, you know, majority of that you need, you have to buy. Capitalistic, you know, capitalism, right? Capitalism. And I'm like, if we live in a state or in a world that's driven by communism, and see now within South Africa, our education system is not empowering us with financial literacy, and yet the world is being governed, or the world is transactional. Why are we only learning about financial literacy when we get to grade 10? Where people, not even everybody is choosing commerce when they get to grade 10, right? Not everybody chooses commerce. Some choose physical sciences, the science stream. Some they choose the humanities or hospitality, the stream of hospitality. They choose the stream. So you'd find Oguti now, as we said, there's a show on the internet or on DSTV that's going on. It's called I Blow It. And I'm like, imagine these people, the same people that were within the show, people that were a part of that show, they were given the right tools or were exposed to the right tools, such as financial literacy at the lower level, to say, now at this point, we are learning everything within life orientation this, life orientation this. I'm like, that's amazing that people are learning life orientation or learning within life orientation. I'm like, life orientation is life. It's teaching you about things that you need to teach everything in your life, and they give you tools on how to handle them, right? And I'm like, why can't we, or why don't we do that with finances or our finances? Which you say we need to build a conscious, a financial literate conscious state within our country, and these are the things that we are implementing to make sure, that we get to that end goal where you have kids that are like financially literate, you don't get cases, or you get fewer cases of people that win the lottery, people who get whatever betway money. They don't spoil it, or they don't spend it wrongfully. They spend it in wrong things, And I'm like, is there people, conspiracy theories, this is for you. Do you think there's a thing that they're trying to hide, or like they don't want to expose the knowledge out there because somehow, because it's a capitalistic stage as well, there's a way that the structure of this system allows people within the food chain, the higher people, the richer people, to make more, to benefit more from how the system is designed. There's more people eating from the ignorance. Do you think that's the case? Do let me know in the comment section. That's what was bugging me for the past 5 minutes when I started reading the title of this book. The name of the book is Things That Pale Black People Ain't Taught. Raymond was one. I haven't read the book. That's my personal opinion. When that came, about the financial structure, the financial system, and how we need to fight to make sure that, financial literacy is put forth, or it's also being advocated for kids to say, like, we are advocates of financial literacy, hence we are implementing this at an earlier age. So when these kids get to their 20s, they know they are financially responsible individuals, So I know there's certain faculties or department where you find the consciousness of people, or the enlightenment of people that were illiterate, financially illiterate, that is being removed from them. There's certain businesses that are going to suffer because they're exploiting that as far as like making money, capitalism again, right? So that's my take on that when I saw the heading of the book. Do let me know what you think about the book, or if you've read the book, just hit us up in the comment section, and we'll make sure to get you through the show, and maybe you break the book down to us. I know, like people like who's this guy, Sadie. They started a book club and they were reading books, they were sharing books. Like, that's pretty dope, but like I'm pretty busy to be having a book club, sharing books, doing this, doing that. I can't. So when I get time, I read a book, finish, we move on to another book. Some of these books that I want to read, this is one of them for sure. I haven't written anything. These things I just attract, I don't chase, I attract type of energy. Whatever that grabs my eyes at that moment, I just put it out and read it, So yeah, man, that's the end of that, man. I really enjoyed being with you for the past, I think now we added over to like 30 minutes, and I just wanted to keep this episode really short and brief, break down the movie and the financial structure of our country. But this is one of like some of the things that I was thinking about throughout the days. I was talking to people as well about like that. I was yesterday or today, we were talking with some people, and I'm like, this is kind of messed up when you don't know, because someone was even making example of trading and like the dynamic, the main check that you need to implement. But if someone hasn't been doing that for the longest time, you don't have the muscle memory to say, okay, because this I've been doing throughout my entire schooling process. So when I get money, it's easier for you to think more literally, like as it literally, or more when you get that money to say, okay, like, no, I can't do this, I have to do this. You prioritize, So obviously certain places are going to be hit hard. They'll start making less money because of that, but it is what it is. Communism, it is what it is. So that's my thoughts on that, man. Let's meet again on another episode of BackRoomConvos with Lesego M. So yeah, I really did enjoy this episode, the second half episode. I think on the first episode of the day, I was very much tired. In the second segment, and for those of you who listened, you could really tell that I was all over the place. And again, that also came with like not doing this for the longest time. So I tend to like lose my train of thought, and I go to sleep, and I wake up, I'm still talking, and I'm like, damn, what am I talking about? You won't understand, but people who are within this sector, they would let you know, Kuti. It happens, So that happened to me yesterday. I was like, oh, never ever should this happen to me again. So yeah, man, I did really enjoy this episode. Road to 100 episodes. We are hitting 100 episodes tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who's listening to the podcast for the support internationally. Do let me know what you need to us to do for the 101 episode. We're supposed to have the Mighty Mabulo. We are supposed to have Emmanuel Mosala as well. Video podcast. Fingers crossed they get the equipment for the podcast. We have the video podcast because these people that we're about to bring next, these people are very wise. I think there's much more. There's going to be basically a lot of things to learn about these people. So man, do let me know if you want to be a part of that conversation, or that just type in the comment section the questions that you want us to ask Mighty Mabulo and Emmanuel Mushala on the comment section. And please do not forget to follow, like, and comment, and leave a notification for each and every time we drop an episode. You'll get a notification. I'm your host at the most, Lesego M. Let's meet again on another exciting episode of BackRoomConvos with Lesego M. Have a lovely night. Cheers.